What's up guys, it's Desro. I'm here to make a PvT guide for Legacy of the Void. This is actually played on the beta, but I'm 100% certain, okay 95% certain, that there will not be any big metagame changes when the game launches next, or on the 10th of November. Today is the 2nd when I'm recording this. So this build has been working for me in most of my PvTs. The time it doesn't really work is if I play poorly and I don't have good drop defense. So you're gonna start with a 16 gate and then a double gas. And the goal of this build is very Heart of the Swarm-ish. If you've played a bunch of Heart of the Swarm, this will you will understand this build pretty simple. You rush to 3 Observer with a Blink and then go into Disruptors. Now, I'm playing this versus no one because they don't have AI in the beta, and so there's not anyone versus me right now. Always put a Pylon, and your second Pylon in the middle of the mineral line for photon overcharge purposes. This is going to be our natural, our third, and our fourth. Oh, go. Versus Terran, I do not scout. I'm sure if you play cheesy Terrans, that could bite you in the butt, but honestly, there hasn't been a whole lot of cheesy Terrans because of how good photon overcharge is and the Adept being strong versus early Marines and so on. So we're going to be expanding very soon here, as soon as I get the money. The build order notes will be in the description on YouTube. It'll be on my website as well. And I'll be pumping out guides pretty often as the game launches. Alright, so 23 Nexus. Here, we're going to wait and make a Mothership. We're going to get Warp Gate. We're going to put 3 on this one. I like to have 16 probes mining minerals. It's the most optimal number as they adjusted with a recent patch. Right now I have 17, so it's a little bit awkward. Third Pylon, you can put it, oh, you want a Stalker. So the Stalker's a little bit delayed here with this build. You want a robo, and then you want to make your third Pylon. So your third Pylon's gonna go, I like to put it in a natural, and also that allows me to hide where my Twilight will be, although, yeah, this Pylon should be good. Alright, we'll start long distance mining. There should be Reaper sometimes. Some Terran players still skip the Reaper because photon overcharge is so strong versus it. So this map, just like this, we can have the probes long distance mine. It's no problem really. This Pylon's finished. We get a Twilight. By the way, return cargo instead of letting the probe go back to the main base is a wonderful little mechanic that's covered in my new mechanics video. Make sure to check it out. Alright, so I'm chrono boosting the first observer, and then that chrono boost is gonna go into the Twilight as soon as it's finished. And then we're just gonna continue with the observer production. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the main to chrono boost the Twilight, because I want my Nexus here to always be chrono boosted. We're going to make a second Stalker, and we're going to add another Pylon to add extra gates here very shortly. Now with the way I'm doing it right now, it's a little bit tricky, because if they Widow Mine drop you and you add your gates kind of late, it can backfire. War gates finish, but my Stalker's still in production. So adding, like, if you want to be super safe, you can add the gates first and then add the gas at the natural after. It's up to you. Obviously, making own adjustments to this build should be if you're masters or high diamond. Adjusting the build at a lower level is maybe not the best. As soon as we got our 3 observers and we've been producing Stalkers, we put down the robo bait. Another Pylon. Now, this is usually where seeing a Terran would be important. If he's going bio, you can push. If you see like that the factory is not finished, the starport is not finished, you can push with your Blink Stalkers. and you can add and expand. If you think he's going to push you before that, or if he has a factory and a starport for Widow Mines, then obviously you want to play defensive. If you see that it's bio and he's not going to drop you, you want to move out those observers, usually one in front of the third and one for drops. And this one, you don't want to lose it. As soon as the robo bay finishes, you want to be chrono boosting that. You can double forge, or you can one forge, it's up to you. I'll double forge here, and I'm gonna need some extra pylon. Now, you can make a bigger Stalker ball and pressure him. It's actually really nice to buy some time, just go poke at him while you make disruptors. But you have to be careful, because the more Stalkers you make to pressure, the later your gates are gonna be, and you might end up floating a lot of minerals. So these two little points of when to add the gates will be in the build order notes in the description, and there'll probably be a text over the video at some point in the video. I still have to edit this. This is the raw footage. So we're poking by now. Usually, like, by the time you have your first disruptor is when they're at they're knocking at your door. So it looks a little bit unnatural right now, like my stalkers shouldn't be here. And one thing that I really like in Legacy of the Void is because we don't need range, I get observer speed quite a lot, and it pays off. You know, if they try to scan, it's a lot harder. And usually when I'm making probes for my third, that's when I stop chrono boosting my probes. I transfer 4 workers early because this is gonna mine out very soon. As you can see, it's 150 already left. And really, like, the weird thing about Legacy that some of you might remember back when we let me pause this real quick. So one thing that's really weird that you know, Heart of the Swarm, you made like 10 Stalkers max. In Legacy of the Void, you make as many as you can because you need the mobility, and the disruptors are gonna zone the Terran, and they're gonna do a lot of damage. And at that point, once you have 4 disruptor, you can move out on the map. You can be aggressive. You want to be taking a 4th, and that's when you transition into Tempest to deal with the Liberators. If there are no Liberators, you can do Immortals. And adding a second robo at this time in the game is pretty good as well. You want to make sure you have enough gates first, and then you want to be adding a robo. Usually put it by my third base. And yeah, just this army. And the weird thing is, you see I have a lot of stalkers here. I have some disruptor. You can leave a disruptor for defense, but you also want to leave a group of stalker for defense. So we'll actually put 6 stalkers here, 7. Supply block. But you get the point. So you have these stalkers at the front, these stalkers for defense plus a disruptor, and you pretty much have the survival kit versus Terran until the late game where Tempest comes into play and other units. Hope you guys enjoyed this little guide. The notes in the description or on my website. Thank you for watching. Take care, guys.